Hello everybody, welcome to this session on GST. Today we will be discussing in detail about casual and non-resident taxable persons under GST. A casual taxable person is a person who occasionally undertakes taxable transactions in a state where he has no fixed place of business. Examples are sellers in exhibitions, trade fairs, circus business, etc. A non-resident taxable person is a person who resides outside India and comes to India occasionally to undertake taxable transactions and has no fixed place of business in India. As you can see, what is common between these two persons is that they occasionally undertake taxable transactions in a place where they have no fixed place of business. Let us now see the provisions with respect to casual and non-resident taxable persons under GST. First, we'll cover the registration aspects in case of these persons. Casual and non-resident taxable persons have to mandatorily register under GST. Hence, irrespective of their turnover, they have to register. They must apply for registration at least 5 days prior to commencement of their business. At the time of submission of application for registration, they have to make an advance deposit of tax equivalent to the estimated tax liability for the period for which registration is sought. For example, a casual taxable person is seeking registration for the month of August 2017 and estimates the tax liability to be Rs 15,000. The person must make an advance deposit of Rs 15,000 while applying for registration. Once a certificate of registration is issued to these persons, it will be valid for maximum 90 days from the date of registration. On request, the registration can be extended for another 90 days by an officer. If the registration period is extended, the person must deposit an additional amount of tax equivalent to the estimated tax liability for the period for which registration is sought. For example, the casual taxable person who we had discussed earlier applies for extension of registration till October 10th, 2017. The estimated tax liability for the extended period is Rs 30,000. In this case, the casual taxable person must deposit Rs 30,000 while seeking extension of registration. Also, if the advance tax deposited turns out to be more than the actual tax liable, the same will be refunded to the persons once they file their monthly return for the applicable period. Let us now see the returns applicable for these persons. For a non-resident taxable person, the return to be filed is Form GSTR 5. It is a monthly return which must be filed before 20th of the succeeding month or within 7 days after the expiry of registration, whichever is earlier. The details to be furnished are details of imports, outward supplies, ITC availed, tax paid and closing stock. Let us now see the returns to be filed by casual taxable persons. A casual taxable person has to file the same monthly returns for the period of registration as a regular dealer. So on the 10th of the succeeding month, the person has to furnish Form GSTR 1 containing details of outward supplies of taxable goods and/or services. On the 11th of the succeeding month, Form GSTR-2A will be made available to the person containing details of inward supplies on the basis of Form GSTR-1 furnished by the person's suppliers. On 15th of the succeeding month, the person has to furnish Form GSTR-2 containing details of inward supplies for claiming input tax credit. Any additions or modifications in Form GSTR-2A should be submitted in Form GSTR-2. On 17th of the succeeding month, Form GSTR-1A will be made available to the person. It will contain details of outward supplies added, corrected or deleted by the person's recipients in Form GSTR-2. The supplier can accept or reject the modifications made by recipients. On 20th of the succeeding month, Form GSTR-3 has to be filed by the person, which is the monthly return containing final details of outward supplies and inward supplies. To learn more on GST, you can visit our blog blogs.tallysolutions.com. You can also download our app Tally for GST from the Play Store. Thank you.